All rise.
What?
The Superior Court of the State of San Andreas is now in session. The Honorable Justices Noonan and Noonab presiding.
Thank you. You may be seated. The Superior Court of San Andreas is now hearing the class action lawsuit Richard Long versus Luxury Autos. Who do we have for the plaintiff? I need to speak up, plaintiff.
Jessica Tello and Mick Squigs, Your Honor.
Who do we have for the defense?
The defense is Oliver Hall and Sarasota.
Okay, do we believe everybody's present? Let's see, Hall, Hunt, Tello. Okay. The plaintiff, you're up first. We'll just hear we'll hear your complaint.
Speak up, dear.
Oh, sorry, been voice box issues. Our complaint is that several vehicles were advertised as limited edition, some even advertised as one of a certain number. Once they got restocked, they were still advertised as one of the same number as before. Due to this, multiple people have purchased cars they otherwise would not have. They then... Each of our plaintiffs has fallen victim to this, and we are currently seeking a total of $13,282,445. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. We'll hear any preliminary motions at this time. Plaintiff, do you have any preliminary?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor. Defense would move to strike the latest statement that was submitted by James Burgess on the account that it does not conform to the sworn affidavit standards of the state. It is simply a statement that is provided with his signature with no actual oath or affirmation that's attached.
Let me review it one more time.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to deny the motion. There's a statement, there's a signature, it's posted on the docket, he's sworn in.
Your Honor,
okay.
defense would also file a motion with the court to dismiss the complaints on the following plaintiffs on the account that they failed to comply with the court order, and I can go further into detail on that. We'd like to strike the claims of Brian DeGaffa, Liam O'Neill, Keem Washington, Choi Liu, Astrid Hawthorne, and Marshawn Bradley.
No, dear. We will allow it.
Yeah, we're going to allow it.
Your Honor, may I respond?
No.
Let's move on.
I believe that's all the preliminary matters from the defense unit.
Okay, thank you. Plaintiff, you can call your first witness.
All All right, Your Honor, we will call Richard Long.
Now, are we proceeding with opening statement?
There's no opening statements in a civil case.
Your Honor, the plaintiffs would like to call Richard Long to the stand.
Is he here? Is
Yes,
Richard
he
Long
is.
here? Richard Long, you may approach the stand. Mr. McLean, could you swear him in, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Yeah, I did.
Mr. Long, if you would raise both hands for me. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
All right.
Go ahead, D.
Okay. No problem.
Take the microphone, D. Come here.
Ms. Tello, this is your witness.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Long. I thank you for taking the time to be here today. I'd like to start by asking you to explain to the court your experience on the day you purchased your vehicles.
Objection, Foundation.
Denied, dear. Carry on.
So on the day that I went to purchase a vehicle from Lux, I was with a friend of mine. We were actually going over there to buy a Lamborghini Diablo SV that was, I think it was the last one in stock at the time. It was a car that I'd had in mind for a while. So when we got there, I spoke to, I believe it was Miss Wolf, and she informed me that they had a Porsche 911 Turbo SLE, I believe it was, in stock. And knowing the market for that, I knew that its resale value was significantly higher than its retail. So I spent the extra cash, which I think was 60, 80, something around that, in the form of an investment, so that I could kind of sell it to someone else and they would pay more money for the car. And that was the entire premise, really, of buying the vehicle. That was, yeah, pretty much it, I think.
All right, thank you. Who did you go through to purchase the vehicle?
I believe it was Miss Wolf.
Do you remember any of these? 1 second, sorry. Did she suggest the vehicle to you, or did you pick it out yourself?
Picked out the vehicle myself, but she did mention that they had literally just received one sort of in stock, and I wasn't aware if that was from a seizure or whatever. I don't know how they came about getting another one, but yeah.
The one in stock, was it listed as one of a certain number?
Yeah, I believe on the website, I believe it said 1 out of 6. I think was the total number. Same with the Diablo, as far as I know.
At any point did she say it was a first generation or limited edition?
Not entirely sure. I don't really recall that. I believe all of the vehicles are listed as limited on the website. At least it was at the time.
Would you have purchased it if it wasn't limited?
If it wasn't limited, the resale value probably wouldn't have been as high as it was. So probably not. Probably would have bought the Diablo instead.
Were you ever informed that more were put into the circulation after you purchased yours?
After, yeah, I was informed. Had to have been a couple, maybe a few weeks later. I believe the total number had gone from 6 to 20, I think, which obviously then brought the resale value down because there was more on the market.
Were you offered any chances to return the car for full cost? Sorry, could you repeat your answer? I couldn't hear you.
No.
Would you have returned it if you were offered to that?
What?
Would you have returned the vehicle if you were offered a chance to return it for full cost?
If I'd found out about the more of the vehicles being put in, more of the vehicles being sold, more than likely, yeah.
Okay, no further questions currently.
The defense, would you like to cross-examine?
Yes, Your Honor. Permission to approach the witness?
Granted.
Speak up, dear. I am old.
Sorry, yeah, I was just asking for permission to approach the witness. All right, Richard Long, right?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
All right. Now, you stated that you wanted to purchase a Porsche 911. Do you know the date of that purchase?
Not entirely, no. Didn't keep a record.
Okay. And you said you were with a friend. Who was that friend?
The friend would have been Raj Gupta.
Raj Gupta. Okay. Now, you said that you had intentions to buy the Lamborghini Diablo, right?
Correct.
Okay. And through the course of your time at Luxury Autos, your mind changed. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And you decided to buy the vehicle on the same day?
Yep.
Okay. And who was the salesperson that sold you the vehicle?
Again, I believe it was Miss Wolf.
Okay. Were there any other salespeople involved?
I don't think so.
Okay. And how much did you buy the vehicle for?
Whatever was listed as their retail, 310, 309, something around that.
Sorry, you didn't recall the date?
The date?
The date of sale?
No. It's a little while ago, so no.
Okay. And you were talking a little bit about the retail market, and you wanted to buy the vehicle with the intention to sell it later on. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And at that time, how much money did you think you were going to get for reselling the vehicle?
I'd heard rumors, which I'm more than sure that this is generally what they were, that they were selling for upwards of 7 figures. But I knew that more so realistically, it could have netted me a profit of 300, 400, at least.
Okay, so that being you would sell the vehicle, or buy the vehicle rather, at $300,000 and perhaps sell it at 700.
Yeah, just about. That's an estimate, yeah.
There was no guarantee that would happen, right?
Not really.
Yeah, I mean, you could go out there and it would have been possible your vehicle could be worth $50,000, like way less, right?
Correct. I wouldn't ever sell it at that price, but yeah.
Okay.
It
And
is possible.
you stated you picked the vehicle out yourself, is that right?
Yeah, Miss Wolf directed me to it. She stated that we had I can't recall exactly the words verbatim, but she said something to the effect of, we have a Porsche in stock, like a 911. Do you want to look at that instead? Thing.
She showed you the vehicle?
I guess, yeah. She mentioned it at least.
Okay. Did you take it for a test drive at all?
No.
Sorry, say again?
No.
No, okay. Now, how did she actually pitch the vehicle to you?
I mean, again, it's such a long time ago. I can't recall exactly what the words were said, but I went up and I approached Miss Wolf. I stated that I was looking to buy a Lamborghini Diablo SV. I think during the course of our conversation, she mentioned that they had a Porsche 911 SLE, whatever it was, in stock. And then because I had prior knowledge of the market itself and what they have or could potentially go for, I decided to snap that deal up instead.
Okay, so you were basing your intention to buy the vehicle basically around your background knowledge, right?
Yeah, the fact that the vehicles themselves were restricted, limited in a sense.
Okay. And where did that background knowledge come from?
Just word on the street type of thing. Speaking to people that I know that knew them, people that have been offered significant amount of money to buy them, just haven't, for whatever reason.
Okay. And would you have heard from these people that, certain vehicles at Luxury Autos were one out of a certain number?
Yeah, them and others, yeah.
Okay. Great. And you stated that You had a conversation with Tula Wolf as she was selling the vehicle, right? They're telling you what the vehicle's like?
Well, we kind of just had a conversation in general, just whilst we were stood there, chatting about the cars, and then obviously she mentioned the vehicle itself.
Okay, and you couldn't remember the exact verbiage of that conversation, is that
No.
right?
No.
Okay, what was the general vibe that you got from the conversation? Sort of paraphrasing it.
In what way?
What did she tell you about the vehicle?
Just said that we had one in stock. I took a look, I'm pretty sure, on the Lux website. As obviously, I'm sure you know, the vehicles there were listed as limited. The majority of them, not every single one, but the SLE was one of them.
Okay, but
Okay,
she never
Diablo
said
was too.
that the Porsche 911, she was only going to sell a certain amount. Did she?
I don't really recall.
Okay. And you don't recall signing a contract stipulating that luxury autos would never sell more than a certain amount of Porsche 911s, right?
No.
Okay. And you mentioned a little bit about the website. I'd like to bring that up. So
Sure.
if you could look at, just give me one moment to pull this up. Right, if you could pull up exhibit, this is going to be exhibit 1E and 1F. These are defense exhibits. I can send these to you if you need to find it.
Let me have a look. Sure.
You found it?
Yep.
Okay. And can you describe what you're looking at in exhibit 1E?
1E, this would be, let me double check the link. So this is just the advertising, the page for the Porsche 911.
Okay. Right, and is that what you would have seen when you were looking on the website for the vehicle?
More than likely.
Did you see any other area on the website that talked about the Porsche 911?
Only really the homepage, I believe, and I think what you've got listed as Exhibit 1F.
Okay. And then exhibit 1E, anywhere on there, does it say that the vehicle is not going to be sold over a certain amount? So 1 out of 6%.
No.
Okay. And you based your transaction off the website, right?
There's a mixture of factors.
Yeah,
Wasn't
so
just the website.
that was one of the factors, right?
Yeah, the website would have been part of it, yeah.
Okay. And another part would have been your conversation with Ms. Wolf, right?
Correct.
And another part would have been, what you heard from people on the street, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And through your conversation with Ms. Wolf and the website, neither of those specifically stipulated that there are only going to be 1 out of a certain number of Porsches sold, right?
Well, this might not have been exactly what I would have seen at the website. I know the website does change. So sometimes getting the right picture for the website would be difficult.
Sure, so that
But
didn't actually
I
answer
do, I'm going to. I do remember that on the website there was lists that say things like only a few left, or only one left, or sold out. But yes, there isn't anything on there with what you've presented that would lead someone to believe that they are limited.
Okay. And you said that the sold out or the one in stock, right? That's what you see on the website from time to time?
Yeah, quite often, yeah.
Okay. And that has to do with how many vehicles are currently in the luxury autos inventory, to your knowledge, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Do you have any more questions, dear?
Just give me one moment, Your Honor. Do you have any questions? I think I'm going to leave it there with this guy. What? No, I don't. No, I mean, no further questions from defense. Right?
Miss Tello, do you wish to redirect here?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Long, you may step down, dear.
Thank you.
Next witness. Hello.
At your time, This Honor, we'd like to call. I keep on calling him Judge Man. Ex-Judge Man to the stand, please.
Please approach, dear.
Hello, Mr. Man.
Howdy, Mac.
All right. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Sure.
Thank you, Your Honors. Good afternoon. I'd like to, start essentially with the same style of question as we just did. I would like to get your experience when purchasing your vehicle from Lux Autos.
So it was late July or early August. I can't remember exactly when. I had been down kind of a low point. I was talking with people, trying to see something to kind of cheer me up. Been kidnapped for about 3 to 4 weeks. Beaten, all that stuff. And I talked to one of my good friends, Shiro, and he went and told me that there was this nice car that I could go and get that's rare, that not many people are going to be able to get ever, that it's like a 1 out of 6. And I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. And he went and told me that it's like $200,000. And I was like, okay, I'll start saving up for that. And I think it was like a couple days later, I went and got the money saved up. I went down to Lux Autos. I talked with Tula Wolf, and Jackie Cho, and a couple of other people who were shooting or whatnot, doing whatever dumb things they were doing at the time. And I talked to Shiro and Tula. They went and said that they got the limited edition car in still. That was the Porsche 911 Turbo SLE. They went and said that this car is not going to get restocked. That this is the amount that's in. And Shiro went and continued to talk to me, went and let me drive it around for a little bit. We went and test drove it, a small bit. After that, I knew that I had to have the car, as it would be a flex staple. I'd be able to flex it all around the state because that's what I do. I like to flex cars and shit. And so I was like, okay, this is 1 out of 6 car. I'll be able to go and have it. It'll be something that only I can, or like that me and a very limited amount of people will be able to have. So I bought it for pretty much that reason. And yeah, that's when I bought it.
After you purchased it, was there? Sorry, hold on. Sorry.
Turn your
So
phone off, dear.
absolutely, yep. Just silence. I apologize to the court. So is it safe to say you purchased this vehicle for a specific reason when it comes to the rarity of the vehicle?
Yeah, it was all about the flex and how rare it was.
And at any point after your purchase, did that change? At
Hang
what point?
on, dear.
Yes.
What does the flex mean, dear?
I just wanted to show it off. I wanted to go and make it known to the world that this is a rare car and that I have it. Basically saying that I have something rare that you don't have.
What else do you flex, dear?
Porsche 911 is what I flexed.
Carry on, dear.
Thank you, Your Honor. So after your purchase, at any point in time, did this, as you said, this flex feeling, did that change given any new information?
Yeah, I started seeing a bunch more Porsche 911s driving around, the LE version, and I asked around, and I went and found out that they had gotten restocked, and that and there was a lot more than just 6 now. And I saw that for myself at court once. When I was leaving the courtroom, I saw 5 Porsche 911s, not including mine, around the courthouse, and I was like, okay, that's improbable that would be possible if there's only 6 of them, So I was like, okay, this maybe isn't a flex factor anymore. And then I talked with Leon from Luxury Autos, and he went and said that yeah, there's a lot more than 6 now that have been in stock.
You said that, yeah, as you just said, there's more than 6. Where does this 6 number come from?
Shiro and Tula told me when I bought the car that it was 1 out of 6. That they only had 6 in stock, and that they were only going to have 6 in stock.
So that was part of the sale to you, is they told you it would be 1 of 6.
Yeah,
Who
that
is
was
Shiro, dear?
Shiro Kamiya. He was employee at Luxury Autos.
Thank you, dear.
When you were told 1 of 6, did you view this as added value?
Oh yeah, that made the whole value of it. The Porsche itself isn't the valuable part; it's the 1 out of 6 part that makes it so valuable.
Okay, and at any point after your purchase, were you updated or informed that more may be put into circulation?
I was only told by Leon after I'd inquired with him if there was more in stock. He told me then that there was more in stock.
So that was that through official means, or was
No, that was me
that's the
talking to him
question.
as a friend.
Okay, and at that point, did you try to return the vehicle or ask for any type of compensation?
No, because there's not really been any like staple for that to be a thing. Like they don't advertise that anywhere. They didn't say that like, hey, we're going to go and compensate. Like we'll take it back. We'll pay you or something like that. They didn't do any of that. There's no mention of that.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'd like to reference the defense's exhibits, Exhibit 1A through Exhibit 1L. If you can please bring those about, I'm going to ask you a few questions about those.
Okay.
Sorry, let me know. Just let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm good.
Awesome. Okay. In reference to, let's see. Let's start with Exhibit 1A. We won't go through them one by one, but Exhibit 1A. If you're looking at that, I would assume it's a screenshot from their website. Absolutely. In this screenshot, can you recall if this is how it appears or appeared on the date that you were purchasing a car? And if you don't know, please say you don't know.
1A.
Correct. Yeah.
I didn't buy an X80 Proto, so I don't know if that's.
Absolutely.
Sorry, so you said Shiro's name definitely isn't Brian, right?
Was that? Sorry. I thought you were saying. I apologize. Okay. Sorry. So in Exhibit 1A, do you see any type of date on this exhibit?
No.
So without a date, would you know when this sale or this vehicle at this price was listed?
No.
All right, I'd like to ask the same questions let's go to Exhibit 1C, since we are skipping over the proto. We won't waste the court's time. If you can please reference that.
Yep.
If you can answer the same question. To the best of your recollection, does this image appear to be the way it looked when you looked at the website?
Yeah, when I did buy my Infernus, that is how it did look.
Okay, thank you. And same question again. Is there a date at all on this evidence or exhibit that would lead you to believe when it was taken?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. I guess we won't to go to the other ones. I appreciate your answers there. At this point, I'd like to go to Exhibit 2A. If you can please reference that.
Yeah.
And I'll keep it very straightforward on this. Again, on this exhibit, do you see any type of date, timestamp, anything that would tell us that this was in existence at a certain time?
I'm
No.
going to object at this point. I believe we already clarified with the court as to when these exhibits were taken and submitted.
Sustained, dear. I do not think we need to rehash the dates and anything, dear, okay?
Understood. Thank you. Then we will skip ahead. All right. Okay, so afterwards, after the purchase, after the limited edition or the one of six, as you stated, you arrived at new information. At that point, did you try to privately sell the vehicle at any point?
Before I had tried to sell it, and I was approached by Frank Grotti with an offer of, I believe it was either 1.25 million or 1.5 million for it. But after I had gotten that information, I did go and try probing to seeing how much the market value was now, and I couldn't even get it for 500K. I could barely get it. I barely could get someone to go and bite for 400K.
You said you were offered. How much was the amount again? The first amount you were offered?
1.25 million or 1.5 million, somewhere around there, where Frank Grotti had offered it to me.
And the market value you said after you stated you researched it afterwards was at what price?
Like $500,000 at most. $400,000 was the last concrete number that I could get someone to agree on. And that was them pushing to their highest they would buy it for.
Did this individual who was purchasing it from you ever explain why they were looking to pay so much more for the car?
Well, I had upgrades on it, so that was a factor in it. But they didn't really explain why they're like. I think it was more just out of a favor for me, really. Like they were just trying to be nice, if anything, because they could have just gone and bought it for cheaper.
Okay. All right. Then, no further questions, Your Honor. I think that covers what I can cover here. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Defense, would you like to cross?
Yes, sir. Of course, permission to approach the witness.
Witness is yours.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Mann, you were a judge at one point, right?
Yeah, I was.
All right. Now, in your time as a judge, you shut down Lux Autos. Isn't that right?
On the order of the Chief Justice of San Andreas, yes.
All right. And in your time as a judge, you also approved a warrant for the arrest of Tula Wolf for obstruction of justice and failure to comply with the subpoena. Is that right?
On command of the Chief Justice, yes.
And she's the owner of Lux Autos, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, were you remanded by the Department of Justice for this incident?
I don't recall exactly. I do remember that it was removed, but I don't remember exactly what the punishments were or what the talking was. I know that I was talked to about some stuff with it. Chief Justice and I had a chat about stuff, but I don't recall exactly if there was any official anything.
It was fair to say that you were in the wrong when it came to your handling of the situation with Luxury Autos, right?
Yeah, I shouldn't.
I had to object. That's kind of leading.
Sustained, dear. I will remind you that you could only ask questions that pertain to their direct examination, dear. So mind your line of questioning and revert it to something else, dear.
Okay. All right, let's move on. So we talked a little bit about the purchase of the Porsche. Now you stated that you bought it from Shiro. Can you state their full name, Shiro?
Kamiya, I believe. I can't say his last name properly.
Okay. And you're sure that that is a person that sold you the vehicle?
Yes, 100%.
All right. I'd like for you to reference exhibit. It's going to be Defense Exhibit 3C. If you'd like, I can send that to you, or just let me know when you have that.
Do that.
Sorry, you said that you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Can you explain sort of row by row exactly what you see on that exhibit?
I see a date. I see a name Brian on there. I see my name. I see Porsche 911 Turbo S. And I see the number 284,625. And then another number 337,125. And then another number 14,850. And then another number 22,275.
Okay. And how much did you purchase the vehicle for?
I believe it was under $300,000. I don't recall exactly.
Okay. Is it safe to say that this is the sale record of your vehicle purchase?
It could be. I don't know since there's nothing listed above it, so it's just a propped picture.
Okay. Do you know? Let me phrase there for a moment. Do you see anywhere on that exhibit the name Shiro Yagata?
No, I don't see Shiro's name on there.
Okay. All right, you can stop looking at that exhibit. Move on. All right. Now, can you recall the date of the sale?
Again, late July or early August. So I would guess that August 3rd would be the date of that sale.
Oh. And how did you learn about the vehicle?
I was talking with my friend Shiro about it. And he went and suggested the vehicle. He said that it fit my style. And that it was rare and that's something that I could use to flex. At the courthouse.
Okay.
So,
Do you solely rely on the word of Shiro to sort of spark your interest into the vehicle, or were there other methods that you learned about the vehicle?
Tula had been bleeding about it on Bleeder a bunch about how there's a rare vehicle they still had it in stock. I believe there were other people from Luxury Autos who were bleeding about it consistently. And that also went and fed into it. I checked out the website, saw it on there, saw that it was rare, and was like, okay, better get it.
Okay.
Especially if Shiro was saying that.
Now, the bleats in Life Invader, the cellular advertisements you were talking about, did they also use the word rare?
I don't know the exact language if they used rare. I do know that they were advertising the Porsche 911 Turbo SLE and advertising as limited edition on Bleeder.
Okay, but you'd agree that the advertising or the bleats and all that, it was pretty ambiguous, right? It was a little bit unclear.
I don't recall that time. I don't recall exactly what the bleats said, so I can't really comment on that.
You don't recall anything specific about what was said, right?
Nothing that specific, like the exact wording of it, no.
Oh. Now, did you use the Luxury Autos website at all in a determining factor of your purchase?
I mainly used it to go and figure out how much money I needed to withdraw from my bank account before, but I did take a look at it before, yeah.
Okay, and was that an influencing factor in your decision to purchase the vehicle website?
I would say so, because it was cheap.
Okay. If I could have you... let's see.
What?
All right. Go ahead and reference Exhibit 2D. This is a plaintiff Exhibit 2D. So this is going to be, I don't know if they have it labeled, but the Luxury Autos website, it's a photo of a Porsche 911, and it was taken October 26th.
2D?
I believe that's how, I don't know if it's specifically labeled that way, but I can try and redirect you.
I don't see a 2D.
I don't see a 2D.
Yeah, I don't think they have it labeled. It's one of the defense exhibit. Try and find it for you. Be a little bit more specific.
2A maybe? No?
I think it's marked as Exhibit 4. Plaintiff Exhibit 4, rather.
Yeah. I see
Okay.
that.
All right. Can you describe what in that exhibit?
Is a picture of the Porsche 911 Turbo SLE, marketed at $309,000. Yeah, picture of the website.
Your Honors, can I object to the scope of this? I thought this was cross-examination. That unless I'm.
He's already started answering questions in regards to this line of questioning, Your Honor.
What is your dear? Could you repeat your objection, please, dear?
Absolutely. The evidence, the exhibit being brought up was never brought up by us. I thought this was cross-examination. We never asked questions related to this, so I guess I'm a bit confused about what's happening.
Related to what, dear? Be specific.
Sorry, the catalog. The catalog was never referenced by us in any way, shape, or form. Well, I'm a bit confused how it could be cross-examination.
Sustained, dear. Carry on.
Choose a different line of questioning, counselor.
Sure. All right. So, I'd like to address the reasoning as far as why you purchased the Porsche 911. So, if you could answer the following questions in a yes or no format. All right. Did you purchase the vehicle to keep your mind off of a recent kidnapping?
I didn't hear the end of that.
That's a
I apologize. Can you
multifaceted
repeat
question, but I
You can
can't
just
answer that in yes or no.
Counselor, could you repeat the question one more time just so
Sure.
the court is clear?
Of course. Yeah, if you could just answer in a yes or no to the following questions. Did you purchase the vehicle to keep your mind off a recent kidnapping?
That's a multifaceted question. It was a factor, so yeah.
Okay.
But also no, it wasn't
Just to
the sole
clarify,
reason.
if it is a factor, then please answer yes. If it's not a factor, then answer no. Next question: did you purchase the vehicle? Or is there an objection?
Is there an objection?
Objection leading to that last question.
This is press.
Overruled, dear.
All right.
You are
Do you need to
walking a fine line, Mr. Hall, dear.
Of course, Your Honor. I'll do my best. Do you need me to repeat the question for you?
Yes, please.
All right. Did you purchase the vehicle for the status around it?
Yeah.
All right. Did you purchase the vehicle to show off?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the vehicle after you purchased it?
Any point in time? Or
Yes, at any point in time.
yes.
Did you have any regrets after buying the vehicle?
Yes.
At what point?
When the engines got swapped for one, and then also when the rarity is destroyed, obliterated.
Did Luxury Auto swap the vehicle engine?
No, that's not why. That was just unrelated to the more so, but the when the rarity is definitely the main reason.
Okay. And now, how did you come to learn that the vehicle was "quote unquote" less rare?
I'd seen it for one. I'd seen it myself. As I told Mick, I'd seen it. At the courthouse, I'd seen 5 of them outside. And I had just come to the conclusion that like this is like nearly impossible for a 1 out of 6 car. For there to be 5 of them here. So I went and did investigating, asked Leon, from Luxury Autos. I went and asked him like, hey, is there more Porsche 911s around now, or like what's going on? And he basically told me that there was a restock of them, and that there was now way more than 6.
Sir, can you just state again who you went to and who told you that?
Leon from Lux.
And what's Leon's full name?
I believe Leon Sagging. I don't have his number. I don't have his full name saved in my phone. I just have him saved as Leon.
And at the time that you talked to him, was Leon a current employee of Luxury Autos?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, when it came to the sale of the vehicle, did you ever sign a contract with Luxury Autos regarding the sale?
Not that I recall.
Did you ever enter into any sort of agreement with Luxury Autos in which they stated they would not sell over a certain amount of vehicles?
Not that I recall.
Okay.
Okay, dear. Do you have any more further questions?
I do, Your Honor, yes. Now, can you state exactly what Shiro told you as far as the rareness of the Porsche 911?
I can't say like exactly word for word what he said, but he said that this was a rare car that was a 1 out of 6, and that no one else will, or not many other people will be able to have it, and that it'll be something that I can definitely flex with.
Okay, and is that an exact quote, or is that what you took away from
That's
the
me
conversation?
paraphrasing what he said.
Okay. But you can't come up with exactly what he said.
No, that was like 4 to 5 months ago. I can't exactly recall exactly what he would say.
And that was on the date of sale, right?
It may have been. It may have been before. I know that I was talking to him a couple of days before about it. It may
Yeah,
have
you were
been
talking
then.
to him as a friend at that point, right?
Dear,
Yeah.
please flex your memory banks, dear.
Yes, I was talking to him as a friend at the time for most of that. Yes.
Okay. You stated that the message that they were only selling 6 vehicles is something you implied from the conversation with Shiro, right?
No, that was something that he had directly said. That's something that I do remember directly, but other parts of it I don't recall exactly. That was the main selling point.
And you talked a little bit in the direct about you not having been reached out to by Luxury Autos as far as the return of the Porsche. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever specifically go to Luxury Autos and request a refund?
No.
Okay. Was a term of sale ever stipulated between you and Luxury Autos that you would have the right to return your Porsche 911?
Not that I recall.
Was it ever advertised that you could return the Porsche?
Not that I recall.
Okay. Other than your conversation with Shiro, was it ever specifically advertised by Luxury Autos the Porsche 911 would be a 1 out of 6 type view?
I believe Tula had also said it when I was present there. I don't know if he was an employee, but Jackie Cho had said that it was a 1 out of 6. And then a couple of other people around the place had gone and said that it was rare, and that it was something which not many people could have their hands on.
All right. No further questions at this time, Jack.
Do you wish for a redirect?
Not this time, Your Honor. Thank you.
Man, you may step down, dear. Flex your way to the seat.
I will flex my way to the seat.
Next witness, dear.
Ms. Tello, do you have any other witnesses?
That was the last in-person witness we have. Could we direct the court's attention to the statements?
Which statements would you like to be heard?
James Burgess.
Mr. McLean, would you like to read these statements out loud?
Yes, Your Honors. Give me a moment to take a look at them.
It's all compiled in the most recent post on the docket, Mr. McLean. I believe there are a total of 4 sworn statements here, Mr. McLean.
Yes, I have the one for James Burgess right here.
Go ahead.
Affidavit of James Burgess, Night Owl Realty, 241 West Mirror Park. During my time I've lived in Los Santos, San Andreas, I've made several private business purchases of vehicles that were, quote, limited, unquote, edition vehicles from the Luxury Autos dealership and brand. My intention of these luxury vehicles, bought both from the store and privately, were with the intentions of their resale market increasing with the employees of Luxury Autos, stating that these are one-time supply of vehicles. Now that the company has increased their stock supplies of these vehicles, whether it be intentional or the manufacturers making them available again has completely disseminated the value or the demand and drive the limited edition vehicle's market value. As a result of this, I have lost a great amount of invested dollars due to the market research and demand of these vehicles plummeting with the restocking of the included vehicles of my case. Signed, James Burgess, 12/11/2021.
Ms. Tuttle, would you like any other statements read?
No, not at this time, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Do you have any? Does the plaintiff rest?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, the court will go into a short recess.
Mr. Turner, I do have a point of clarification before we go into recess.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, dear.
I just, as far as the earlier motion, as far as removing the plaintiffs that didn't provide a statement and aren't here today, just for my memory, was that motion accepted or denied?
That was denied.
dear.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to go into a 10-minute recess. We'll be back at, let's just call it 3 o'clock.
Thank you, Your Honors.
Thank you, Your Honors.
Yeah, I'm going to try and recall.
Superior Court, the State of San Andreas is back in session. The Honorable Justice Noonan and Noonab still presiding.
Okay. The class action Richard Long versus Luxury Autos is now back in session. The plaintiff had rested before we went into recess. We will now hear the summary of the rebuttal to the complaint by the defense.
Yes, one moment here. Thank you, Your Honor. Today, we've heard the case of the plaintiff. We heard from two of the plaintiffs themselves. We heard from Jackman, as well as we heard from Richard Long. And through their testimony, we heard pretty striking information. We heard that during the course of the sale, neither individual actually was told by a representative of Luxury Autos that their vehicle was only going to be a set amount per vehicles that were sold. We heard specifically that they were told the stock, how many vehicles are in stock, not specifically how many vehicles Luxury Autos would give them as a promise not to sell. We heard specifically about the reasons as to why the plaintiffs wanted to sue. We heard from Richard Long, who stated that he specifically bought the vehicle because he believed it would appreciate in value. Now, when he bought the vehicle, he did not have any sort of promise or any sort of negotiation in terms of his agreement with Luxury Autos to determine
Mr.
what...
Hall, dear.
Yes.
This is not a closing statement, dear. It is just a summary of your rebuttal, so make it shorter and go on.
Of course.
Or we will move on, dear.
Of course, Your Honor. I'm going to go a little bit into the law of this case in that area. Specifically, claims are being made as to false advertisement as well as fraud. Now, specifically, in the claim of fraud, false advertising, rather, the elements that the plaintiffs need to prove that, one, a false statement, misleading advertisement, or promise about a product was made. There was actual deception, that meaning that the defendant specifically made the false promise in order to deceive. Basically, meaning they purposely made the statement. 3, that the advertisement was a material factor in the purchase. And that being, of course, without the advertisement or the promise, the plaintiff would not have purchased the good. And 4, the plaintiff sustained an injury due to the advertisement. Now, from what we've heard so far from the plaintiffs, this has not been fulfilled. In terms of the burden that the plaintiff needs to fulfill, they have not met their burden as far as the claim for false advertising. Now, as far as a claim of fraud, there are a couple of different elements that they need to meet as well, both of which, or all of which, need to be met by preponderance of the evidence. For a claim of fraud, they need to prove that there was a false statement or promise that was made. 2, that the defendant, Luxury Autos, knew the statement to be false or was reckless to the truth. 3, that the plaintiff relied upon the statement or promise. 4, that the statement was reasonably relied upon by the plaintiffs. 5, that the plaintiffs were harmed because of their reliance. We have not heard evidence that any such elements were met for either the claim of fraud nor the claim of false advertising. We have not heard how a false statement was made to specifically deceive any of the plaintiffs. We are not going to hear evidence to that fact. That's all you're.
Okay, would the defense like to present to the court any evidence that you wish to point out?
Yes, Your Honor. We'd like to, if at all possible, call Tula Wolf to the stand.
Okay. Yeah, you do have witnesses. You can call your first witness. Yeah.
Thank you. Take this.
Hello, ma'am. If you would raise both hands for me. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Okay. Yes.
All right, go ahead and stand to the right of the judge over there.
Hello.
Hello there, Miss Wolf. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. What is your current occupation?
Let's see. I'm the owner of Lux. And I
Could
do
you
some
please
real
speak
estate
into
work.
the microphone, please, dear?
I'm speaking in the mic. Am I not? Hello? Am I speaking in the microphone?
Miss Wolf.
Can you hear me?
Judge Castillo, can you hear the witness?
Hello?
Yes, we can. Yes, we
Okay.
can.
Can you guys not hear me next to me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Your Honor. Sorry, ma'am.
All right, sorry. Do you need me to repeat the question, or do you want to continue?
I forgot what it was already.
Yeah, I was just asking, what's your current occupation?
Oh, I'm the owner of Lux.
Okay. And how long have you been the owner of Luxury Autos?
I think November of last year.
Okay, so a pretty long time, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, very, very long time.
Now, do you have an employee by the name of Leon Sagan?
No, I don't.
Has he ever worked for Luxury Autos?
No, as far as I believe, he's passed away and he was a criminal.
I'm going to go down the list of plaintiffs, witnesses, and if you could do your best to describe your relationship to each one and whether or not you've actually sold them a vehicle. So, starting with Richard Long.
Yes, I remember him buying the car because those were the weirdest conversation I ever heard. Him and Raz talking about buying the cars. They kept using the word investment.
If you could go ahead and describe the sale.
Raz was talking and comparing the cars, and he brought up the 911, and I said, "Oh, we happen to have one of those." And then he was like, "Oh, you should get that one because it's an investment." And they kept using that word, and I thought, like I said, I thought it was a little strange because no one ever comes in to Lux saying they're going to buy it for an investment. They just buy it to drive it.
Okay, and then you ended up selling the vehicle to Mr. Long, is that right?
Yes, and I recall this because 5 minutes later he was already selling it.
Okay, and how did you portray the vehicle to Mr. Long?
That I had one in stock.
Okay, and did you ever say that you weren't going to sell over a certain amount of the vehicle?
Nope. I just said I had one. The manufacturer have given me some, and I have one for stock, and one in stock.
When you were talking about the vehicle, were you solely talking about the amount that you had in your inventory?
No. Basically, that was basically what I just said. The vehicle sold itself because Roz was the one that was saying, "Oh my gosh, that's such a, you should get this car."
So it was mainly Mr. Gupta that was trying to sell the vehicle for you in a way?
Well, I don't really. Most of the time when they bring in friends, their friends are just like, "Yes, you should get this car." But yeah, I guess so, in a way.
Okay. Did Mr. Long ever sign a contract for the sale?
No, he did not.
Did you ever make any promises other than the sale of the vehicle to Mr. Long?
No, because I'm not responsible for anyone's their purchase after they drive it off the lot.
Okay. I'm going to go continuing through the list. Jackman. So what's your relationship and whether or not you sold any vehicles to him?
My relationship with Jackman? Well, I only had one interaction with him before, and it wasn't a very good one. He got me arrested. And then, and I don't think I ever sold him a car directly. I don't recall selling him one.
Okay, do you know if your business sold him a car?
I believe Brian DeGaffa sold him the Porsche 911.
Okay. And what about Astrid Hawthorne?
Yes, I believe I sold her that car.
Okay.
I think so.
Recall which vehicle that was?
Yes, the Aston Martin. Yes, because she was so excited to get it. And she actually invited me to a birthday party just because of that car.
So did Miss Walker come into the dealership with the intention already to buy the Aston Martin?
Oh, she called me immediately before they were even on sale because there was a rumor around the city. I don't know how it got. The rumor was that it was for sale since I didn't announce anything, but there was a rumor in the city that I had some, and I hadn't put it in the website yet. So she had purchased it prior to me putting it up on the website. I just told her the price, and she said, "Yes, I'm coming in immediately to buy this car because James Burgess has been begging me, not begging, bragging about like how much he wanted this car or something like that. He wants it so bad." And she says she was his girlfriend. I don't know if they're still dating, but she was like, "I have to get him this car for his birthday. I'm gonna be the best girlfriend ever."
Okay. And did you have a conversation with her as far as the sale when she got to the dealership?
She had to sneak out the house, so there wasn't much conversation. It was more like she just handed me the money because I told her how much it was, and like she drove off so she could like sneak it back.
And this was like the day of the car being released, right?
Yes, it was. Like I said, I hadn't put it up on the website yet for it to be on sale.
Okay. I'm going to keep going through. So your relationship and whether or not you sold a vehicle to Choi Lu.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure my general manager sold her a car.
Okay. Were you present for the vehicle sale?
No, I actually, if I recall that day, there was 4 vehicle sales that day, and I woke up an hour later, and my general manager came and said, "Wow, we had an amazing sale today," and it was it's actually, I'm pretty sure, it's the people that are in this case that purchased the car recently. They are all part of the case.
Okay. What about Liam O'Neill?
I don't like that man very much. He kidnapped and shot me trying to get information pertaining this case, and yeah, I have a restraining order against him.
Okay. Have you ever sold him a vehicle?
I don't think I sold him one directly. No, I don't think so.
All right. What about Rakeem Washington?
I don't even think I ever met that person. That is a no.
All right. James Burgess?
I've seen he's come inside of Lux, and the only cars he has ever purchased were local cars. So I don't understand why he's part of the case. But yeah, he's been purchasing local cars from Lux.
Okay, that leads me to my next question. To your knowledge, has James Burgess ever been sold a limited edition vehicle from Luxury Autos?
No, he has not.
Okay. Do you recall what vehicles James Burgess has bought from Luxury Autos?
The X80 Proto, which is a local car. It's not a limited edition car. The AMG GT is also not a limited edition car, and he bought that one. Those are the 2 I can remember on the top of my head.
And are either of those limited edition vehicles?
No, they are not.
Okay. What about Marshawn Bradley?
I don't know who that is. I don't recall who that is. I'm sorry.
That's right. And what about Sean Hunter?
Yes. I know him.
Alright. Yeah,
He
what's
works
your
for me.
relationship?
He works for me, and we are dating.
All right. Very quickly, I'd like for you to reference a couple of exhibits. All right. So for each exhibit, you just sort of describe what you say and whether or not you recognize it, and if so, from where. So if you could look at exhibits marked A, and that's going to be exhibit 1A through 1L. If you'd like, I can provide those to you.
Where would I find these?
I'll send you all.
1A through 1L. Oh, okay, I see it.
And if you could just say where exactly, basically sort of what all of those exhibits are and whether or not you've actually seen them.
One A is the X80, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that car before. Jean bought that car.
I'm asking specifically about the exhibits. So all exhibits marked 1. Have you seen those exhibits before?
Yeah, they're all from my website.
Okay. What about exhibits marked 2? So 2A.
Yes, I have seen that. I wrote that.
Okay. And what does that exhibit describe?
That the vehicles are listed in stock unless stated otherwise, and that the website is not always up to date. Please contact a car salesman if we to check if we do have a vehicle in stock. Cause my website's a little weird. You notice that if you notice like an exhibit, where is it? You notice in what is this one? It says the Porsche 911, only a few left.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you look on the Porsche 911 actual sales page, it just says you can buy one. It doesn't say a few left.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah, for some reason the website I'm using, it just doesn't update that. It says there's no like stock posted on there for that. That's weird.
Okay. If I could have you look at exhibits marked as 3, so 3A through 3J, and just tell me whether or not you've actually seen them before, and if so, what are they?
All of the 3s?
Yeah, so any exhibit marked 3, so 3A through 3J.
What?
These are all limited edition sales except for James Burgess. All of his are local cars. They're not limited edition sales.
Okay, and do you know where that exhibit is from?
Yes, that's from my sales record.
Okay, I'm gonna go through. Let's talk about exhibit. Give me one. We could look at exhibit 3C. And if for each column, if you could just describe exactly what that column, what the purpose is for.
Yes.
So starting with the first column.
The first column's the date. The second is the sales. The third is who we sold it to. And the fourth column is what the car is. The fifth column is the actual the price from the manufacturer that we pay. And the third is a profit. And then okay, I lost my number. Okay, that's like 6. And then the 14K on that one is how much the car dealer gets, the salesman gets, and how much the other one is how much Lux gets. And from the price what Lux gets, it's split between mechanic, security, and basically everyone in there.
Okay. And can you state again what the purpose of the second column is?
The sales rep.
Okay. And is this sort of format, the date, salesperson, etc., is that consistent throughout all of your internal documents?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Now, specifically on this sale, who was the seller?
Brian DeGaffa.
Okay. And who was the buyer?
Jackman.
All right. And what was the vehicle sold?
The Porsche 911 Turbo S.
All right. I'm going to move on, so you can stop looking at those exhibits for now.
Okay.
Have you ever sold a vehicle at Luxury Auto?
Yes, I do. If there's no salesmen around, I like to make sure that the people that work for me get the sale because I actually do get a cut of the car sale.
All right. Now, can you describe how a vehicle sale actually takes place?
The customer normally comes in and says what kind of car they want. We tell them to look at the website if they don't have anything in mind, but most of the time people come in knowing what they want. Sometimes they ask for a test drive, but most of the time they don't. If it's a car that's been around for a while. And they just walk up to our cash register and we just exchange monies and we make sure they know that there's a transfer fee, a 2K transfer fee that's electronic to their bank account, and we purchase the vehicle through the manufacturer and we exchange the title from there. So that's about it. I don't promise that I don't do anything else. I don't make.
Okay. All right, thank you. Now, around how much does Luxury Autos actually profit from the sale of a set vehicle?
For local cars, we only do 5%. For the older cars that were in the kiosk that are not local cars, it's 15%. And the newer vehicles we've been having is between 15 to 30%. We don't actually make that much money.
Okay. Now, when a person buys a vehicle, do they have to sign any sort of contract?
No, they don't.
Okay. Other than the sale of the vehicle, do you make any other sort of promises to the buyer?
No. They bought it. They keep it. That's I shouldn't. I normally don't. Well, actually, I've never promised anything to a buyer because once you buy something, it's yours. I'm not responsible for it after that.
Okay. Has Luxury Autos ever made that sort of promise?
Nope.
Okay. Now, at what point have you upheld your end of the bargain? So, at what point has Luxury Autos fulfilled its duty to the customer during the sale?
Once we transfer the vehicle to them, that's where our interactions end.
Okay. Now, to your knowledge, has yourself or Luxury Autos entered into a written contract with any of the plaintiffs?
No, we have not.
Okay. To your knowledge, have any of the plaintiffs ever been promised anything from Luxury Autos?
No, we haven't promised them anything.
Okay. Does Luxury Autos operate on a per stock basis when it comes to selling vehicles?
What do you mean by that?
So, do you get a certain amount of vehicles, buy them from the manufacturer, and then sell them, all the vehicles you get in that stock, to the public?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the entirety of the process, or is there more to it?
The manufacturer just tells me how much they have, and that's what I try to sell, so.
Okay. Are you at all limited in the amount of vehicles you can sell?
Say that again?
Are you at all limited in the amount of vehicles you can buy and sell?
I'm limited to what I can sell.
Okay. Can you describe that process?
Basically, we have a car manufacturer man named Brian, and he comes and tells us how many we can sell, and that's what we sell.
Okay. And typically, do you advertise the amount of vehicles you have in your inventory?
Not that I recall, because every time people come in and buy the car, they know it's already like, it's not any new cars. There's a certain limit of how many it can sell. When they do come in, they ask me, "Oh, is this limited?" And be like, "Yeah, we can sell 5 of these. That's it." I don't say it's. I don't say like what they were saying earlier, 1 out of 5, because that sounds silly.
Okay.
I've seen people reselling their cars and advertising as such, but I really don't have to say numbers of the cars unless they ask me, because they're there to buy the car. I'm there to sell what I have.
All right. Now, is your business a car dealership?
Yes, it is.
All right. Are there other car dealerships around the state?
PDM.
Okay. Do your business manufacture vehicles at all?
No.
Okay. Are you able to control who the manufacturer sells their vehicles to?
No. But in order for me to get new inventory, I basically have to make sure I'm active in selling the current one.
Okay. So, hypothetically, could you... I'm going to rephrase for a moment. So, hypothetically, could manufacturer decide to sell their vehicles to PDM, and then could PDM then decide to sell, the vehicles that the manufacturer gives them?
I couldn't catch that last part. What was that?
Yeah, so could the manufacturer decide to sell vehicles? Let me put it this way. So if you've been given your monthly, or however it is, allotment of vehicles, could the manufacturer in addition decide to sell further vehicles to PDM?
The manufacturer can do whatever it wants.
Okay. Would you be able to stop them?
No.
All right. Are you at all familiar with the resale market for vehicles?
Not really. I've seen people advertising their sales. The only time I actually paid attention when was Richard Long bought the car, and then he went to resell it immediately, and I heard he was selling it for like $900K or something. But that was just a rumor. I'm not sure if that was true.
Okay. Have you ever specifically witnessed advertising for the resale market?
Yeah, I see it all the time in Bleeder. I really don't pay attention to it because my thoughts on that aren't, I feel like they destroy things.
Okay. And is the advertising for the resale market, is it typically inflated prices than what people typically buy at your establishment?
Yes, it's usually double or triple the price, which I think is crazy.
Do you ever sell your vehicle and say to the customer, if you buy this vehicle, it's going to double in price?
No. Because if you think about it realistically, when a vehicle drives off the lot, it depreciates about 30%. So for me to say that would be crazy.
All right. Does your business advertise the sale of any of its vehicles?
Say that again?
Does your business advertise the sale of any of its vehicles?
Yeah, there's a price on it on the website.
Okay. Can you just briefly describe the methods that your business advertises?
Just business cards. Sometimes people bleed, we're open. Or we got a new car, on the lot.
Okay. And you have a website, right?
Yes.
All right. Can you describe the advertising that takes place on the Luxury Autos website?
I don't know what that means.
Do you typically advertise on your website?
Yeah,
Say,
just
hey,
the prices.
there's a vehicle for sale.
Yeah, we have like a blog section where it says we have a new car. But by the time I get to blogging, most of the cars are sold out, so.
Okay. And on that website, are they at all marked as limited edition?
The ones that the manufacturer has told me there was a limit, yes, they're advertised as limited edition.
And in what capacity are those vehicles advertised as limited? Whether that be on, the website, whether that be through Bleats or Life Invader ads?
That's just it. It just says limited edition. Doesn't say anything much more after that.
Yeah, I'm asking, is it, other than the website, is there any other method that the vehicles are described as limited? That being in person, that being on your cellular advertising, on Life Invader, that sort of thing? Or is
Probably
only on
it
the
by
website?
word of mouth or Bleats or on Life Invader and the website. That's it.
And what does it mean when your vehicle is limited edition?
That means it's limited by the manufacturer.
Okay. Have you ever told anyone that their vehicle was limited by Luxury Autos to a specific amount that would be sold?
I don't recall ever saying that.
Has the Porsche 911 ever been advertised as a vehicle that only 6 would ever be sold by Luxury Autos?
No, because it was only the manufacturer only let us sell 5 at the start.
Okay. Have you heard any rumors about vehicles being sold at only at a specific amount of vehicle?
Yeah, by other people. Mostly from Bleeder when I see their Bleeder ad. I count that as a rumor, right?
To your knowledge, has that ever been stated by any of your employees?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. You would all know where these rumors may have come from?
Probably by the people that bought them, but that's speculation. I can't say that they did that. I don't know where it came from.
One moment. Hey, do you have any questions?
Do you have any more questions, dear?
That's it for now, Your Honor.
Would the plaintiff like to cross?
I would, Your Honor, very briefly, if that's allowed.
The witness is yours.
Absolutely, thank you.
I don't want to be anybody's.
Good afternoon. I'll keep this, pretty quick for you. At the very beginning of the questioning, you stated that, and correct me if I'm wrong. Was it a Leon? Is it Leon? I'll just say Leon.
Saging.
Saging.
Sagging? He does not work for Lux.
Sagging. Okay. Just that's really ultimately that's one question I had. I just want to look for a last name, but there's I gotta ask you this though. But did a Leon work for you in general? So someone with the first name Leon.
Yes, Leon Girog? Greg?
Girog. Do you know when he was hired?
It's a while back. But he only became active selling within the last 2 months.
Okay. That's really the only point of clarification I wanted to establish. I thank you for your time. Thank you, Your Honors. That's the only question I have.
Man. Okay, is that it? Am I good?
We don't intend to redirect, Your Honor.
Do you wish to redirect, dear?
No, Your Honor.
You may step down.
Thank you.
Call your next witness, dear.
Your Honor, defense would like to, about possible, recall Jackman.
What?
We'd like to call Jackman.
Mr. Mann, would you approach the bench, please? Approach the stand.
Your Honor, I believe Mr. Mann had to go take care of some Liberty City issues.
Right, in that case, defense rest, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, what was that, Counselor?
Defense rest.
Okay. Plaintiff, we'll hear your final argument. Ms. Tello or Mr. Squiggs will hear your final argument.
Thank you, Your Honor. We thank the court for its time in considering this matter. with the evidence and statements presented, we would like the court to take into consideration the false advertisement of Lux Autos through their sales to the individuals that have spoken today. They purchased the vehicles under one consideration, which later on, through their own experiences, turned out not to be true. Each of which would not have purchased the vehicles based off the sales tactic that was used on them. The plaintiffs asked the court to consider that true and honest sales is all we are looking to ask for. We're not asking for anything more than the money that was spent and the false advertisement that was claimed. And we hope through our case here we can improve upon this style of sales. And that's it. Thank you, Your Honor, for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Squiggs. Mr. Hall, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen, we've heard a lot through this trial. Overall, what we have heard is nothing that points to the actions of Luxury Autos and to false advertisement, nor fraud, nor anything malicious for that matter. We heard from two of the plaintiffs. We also heard from two of the wolf. And through the course of that testimony, we specifically heard how there was nothing specifically stated, not on a website, not in person, not over the phone, not anywhere, that specifically stated that vehicles were going to be limited by Luxury Autos. We heard specifically from Tula Wolf. She stated that Luxury Autos, when they advertise a vehicle or state that a vehicle is a limited edition, it means that the vehicle is being restricted by the manufacturer, not by Luxury Autos. That they get a specific amount of vehicles per period of time by the manufacturer, and per that period, that is how many vehicles they can sell. It's not that Luxury Auto personally states we're going to limit this to a specific amount forever, but this is how many we have in stock. This is how many we can give you. This is how many we can sell you. And specifically, that's what we heard from each of these witnesses. We didn't hear any witness come up to the stand and state, this Luxury Autos employee specifically, and I can remember this verbatim, specifically state that they are going to enter into this agreement with me and made this promise with me that they wouldn't sell any more of this vehicle. We didn't hear that. We didn't see it in writing. Again, we didn't hear it through the testimony. In fact, we mainly heard the opposite. And through that, the plaintiff has not met their burden. They have not proved that this was a case of false advertising. They have not proved that this was a case of fraud. Instead, all that we have heard is that the plaintiffs are a group of individuals that ended up regretting their decision. They ended up buying a vehicle, and then down the line, they said, oh, wait, this isn't the vehicle I want anymore. That point forward, regretted their purchase. That's all we heard. We didn't hear any legal obligation for Luxury Autos to do anything more than sell a vehicle. We didn't specifically hear how the plaintiffs were at all injured. In fact, Luxury Autos sold them vehicles they were then able to try and sell in the open market for more than they bought them. If anything, the plaintiffs are not injured at all. The requested damages are not equitable to that fact. And when it comes to a claim of false advertising, overall, there must be an intentional claim that is false, material to the purchase, and of course, it is that the seller specifically meant to make that claim in order to deceive the plaintiffs. We have not heard any evidence that Luxury Autos has made false claims, has made those false claims with the intent to deceive anyone. Because of that, claims of false advertising and fraud have not been proven. Your Honor, I'm confident that a just judgment will be rendered. A judgment that completely exonerates Luxury Autos. Thank you.
All right, we're going to call this trial into a 15-minute recess. Let's just say that we'll be back here at about 3:50.
All rise. The Superior Court of the State of
Good
San
job, you
Andreas
guys.
is
Remember
back in
this term,
session. The Honorable Justice Noonan and Nunab presiding.
Where'd he go?
All right.
Hello.
Hello. The class action for Richard Long versus Luxury Autos is now back in session. The Superior Court has come to a verdict. And we will read this verdict out loud now. In the matter of Richard Long versus Luxury Autos, this court heard the complaint that Luxury Autos, the defendant, falsely advertised or committed fraud on its customers. This court heard from witnesses and employees of Luxury Autos, as well as customers who purchased vehicles, that the vehicles were advertised as limited edition, or specifically one of 6 vehicles to ever be sold. Upon review of the evidence, it was ascertained that the defendant, Luxury Autos, never once advertised any limited edition vehicle to be a one-of-a-kind, or any of a certain number of vehicles sold, or hard limit that would ever exist. There is also no evidence of any promise made to any of the plaintiffs, nor evidence of any written contracts or agreements thereof, that any of the vehicles sold were to be one-of-a-kind, or any of a certain number of vehicles. The Luxury Autos website is vague enough in nature that there is no publicly advertised promise to potential customers that its vehicles would again be one of a kind or any of a certain number of vehicles. Any reasonable person is able to assume that the vehicles will be limited in nature, however, have no reason to believe that the vehicles would be, again, one of a kind or any of a certain number of vehicles to be sold. The plaintiffs were unable to prove that the defendant, Luxury Autos, advertised in any form that there was ever any hard cap or limit to the number of vehicles to ever be sold.
I will now be flexing my judicial powers, dear, of the Superior Court, as the kids say. Judgment for the defendant with court costs of $55,000. So ordered, dear.
This case is dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honors.